Hey guys, Storm Zixz here with another video, and similar to last week, this week I'm going to be going over another warrior who received a lot of changes, similar to Arthas, Anub'arak. So what happened with Arthas and Anub'arak is that a lot of their talents got reworked, moved around, and everything just kind of fits better. I will say the changes are incredibly nice. Both heroes are definitely much stronger than they were before. It's just a matter of figuring out how much stronger they are now. Arthas, I believe, is easier to tell. His kit is incredibly strong. He can solo tank in Hero League. Competitive, it's a little iffy. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to be focusing more on Hero League. Anub'arak, he's still kind of squishy, but his talents have been moved around where he looks a lot better and he feels a lot better to play in games. So I'm going to go over the build. I'm going to talk about why I think each talent and each tier are the strongest. Unlike Arthas, I feel like Anub'arak has really one set build minus the choice between the heroics. And so I'm going to go over that starting with level 1. I think the best choice, absolutely, is Dampen Magic. And I think only one other hero has this at level 1, which is um, Stitches. And I think that's it. And I think Chen has something similar to when he drinks his brew. Now this is very nice because every 8 seconds when you take ability damage, you reduce that damage and further ability damage for 1.5 seconds. Anub'arak didn't have this before. This is huge considering that he's known to be very, very squishy. When you go up to clear a wave or to contest a tribute capture or something, they're gonna throw damage at you, and what this does is any abilities, and it doesn't. Don't think about like spell damage, like a Vala multi-shot will be reduced by this. Technically not a it doesn't seem like it's a spell, but it technically is a spell. You take 50% reduced damage, and then anything other follow-up. So if they try to jump on Anub'arak and CC lock him down for the next 1.5 seconds, all those abilities have half the damage on him, and that should be enough mitigation for Anub'arak to survive along with his healer. In the rest of the talent tier, you've got Regeneration Master, which is pretty common. I feel like since it can't continually stack, Regeneration Master isn't as strong as it was before. The health boost is nice, but I feel that Dampen Magic, just the mitigation this gives you, it does so much more than the minimal regeneration. Then you have Assault Scarab, increases attack damage of spawn beetles by 30%. With a new Anub'arak, I don't feel like there's any reason to really go a beetle build unless you have a specific reason to put him in a solo lane and you want to drain tower ammo and be really annoying and just have all of these beetles out. But even for Hero League, I think you get more use of the build that I'm going to be talking about. And then the last one at level 1 is Extended Spikes, increases Impale's range and damage by 25%. It's just, you're tanking as a Anub'arak, he's kind of squishy. Dampen Magic allows you to get so much mitigation and stay in fights longer and not die and not force your healer to have to use his 10-second heal on you. Alright, level 4. I think Underking is by far the best in this talent tier. There's a lot to be desired in this talent tier, so you've got Underking. It's not incredibly great, but it increases your damage on your E by 100% and it increases the range. That's really nice. I mean, you wouldn't even think of taking anything else of this talent tier anyway, even if this was worse than it is. Locust Needles, you do cleave damage to whatever you basic attack. It's all right for clearing waves. You don't really need it. It doesn't help you clear waves that much faster, and you won't be getting a lot of value out of it in team fights. And then Legion of Beetles, automatically spawn a beetle. Again, you could go a beetle build and you could just split push and drain ammo from towers and be annoying, but Anub'arak's own push power is pretty weak. He can drain ammo really well. His beetles are hella annoying. It's just he can't really kill structures that fast. Level 7, you've got Shed Exoskeleton is what I think is the best here. What this does is it increases your movement speed by 30% for 3 seconds when you use your W. That's huge. It allows you to maneuver around fights and escape ganks after you have used your E to engage on somebody. I don't see any reason not to get this. When you dive in, you're very vulnerable. This helps you be a lot less vulnerable. Or this allows you to escape a gank by just using your W for the increased movement speed instead of having to waste your E. So then you could possibly re-engage with your E. It's got a lot of different uses that you wouldn't necessarily think about. With this talent tier, Chitinous plating it seems good, and at first I was taking this. 30% move speed is a lot of move speed though. And I feel like I value the move speed more than the reduced cooldown on the W, and this also requires you to be taking damage from enemy abilities. Now, read that clearly. It says enemy abilities. So auto attacks will not reduce the cooldown on your W. So they have to hit you with abilities. I feel like if it were auto attacks, maybe it'd be getting more value, but even with that, like, it'd be better, but I still would probably take the move speed. That's a personal preference. Here, I personally think it's better if you take Chitinous plating on Anub'arak. I don't think you're necessarily wrong if you have a reason to do so. And the third level 7 talent is Legion Scarabs. Beetles heal Anub'arak for 50% of their damage with each attack if he is nearby. Even if I were to go Beetle build, I don't know if I would take this talent. I'm not quite sure off the top of my head the damage of the beetles and their scaling, but the other two on this talent tier just seem so much stronger. And you get to your heroic abilities on Anub'arak. Nothing's changed here. Locust Swarm and Web Wrap, or Web Blast, sorry. In Hero League, I'd recommend going Locust Swarm. You are probably going to be the only tank. This helps you live longer. It's a lot of AoE damage when you engage into a team fight. It's hard for a lot of healers to heal through that kind of AoE damage. Mouth can do it well. Raygun can do it decently. Uther can't do it very well. Monk can do it alright. Yeah, Monk's pretty good at it. It's just a strong ability. Deals a lot of damage. Keeps you alive. Web Blast. If you're playing with somebody who is coordinated with you, maybe you could take this in Hero League. I don't see too many uses for it in Hero League between two people. If you can somehow get your team to be coordinated with a False Head Gust, right as you throw a Web Blast on a target you want to kill, let their team start attacking it. Right before the Web Wrap is about to break, you gust them all away, the Web Wrap breaks, and you kill them. Something like that is really, really difficult to coordinate with 3 other random players in Hero League. So I wouldn't necessarily take this. There are some situations where you could argue about this. If you're a second tank and you're playing against like an Illidan comp and you want to disable their healing for a little bit, you think just using the Web Blast with no coordination is going to get you a lot of value and allow you an opening to kill the enemy melee assassin, then I don't think it's wrong. Locust Swarm seems to have more practical uses in Hero League. That's how I feel. At level 13, what I chose is, God, I'm not even going to try to pronounce this. It's W talent. When you cast Hardened Carapace, you deal damage to nearby enemies. He's had this before. He's had this the whole time. The difference with this one is now that it deals double damage against heroes. I think the scaling might be better. I'm not 100% on that, but dealing double damage against heroes is nice. Really, really, really nice. This doesn't give him this crazy ability to clear waves. I liked how Blizzard balanced this, but he becomes more of an AoE damage threat with his talent in team fights. I mean, this is level 1 scaling. Let me go to level... It's not going to change the talent. I'm not sure of the scaling off the top of my head, but at level 1, that's 160 damage. The number is going to be much higher at level 13. So that's great. And that's in a pretty decent AoE. And Anub'arak's all about these all-in engagements. You E, Q with your Locust Swarm going, you pop your W for survivability, and now you get some extra nice AoE damage in there. And hopefully your team's wailing on the other members, and now you're causing the support to have to make decisions. Do I heal this person on my team? Do I heal this person on my team? And okay, he heals one person, but your AoE damage got somebody else really low, so your team can just target swap onto that person, and now the support's cooldowns are on cooldown. He no longer has them, and he can't keep that person alive. The other talents at level 13, you got Beta Barbs. You create a bed of spikes along Impale's path that slows enemies' move speed by 30% and deals 46 plus 4 per level damage per second. The spikes are there for 3.5 seconds. It's a long duration for the spikes. The problem is the enemy can see this. Your Q is pretty slow moving. So you're only going to really get value out of it when you're in their face. It's in the same line as your Q. It's pretty underwhelming when you actually get into a game and you're playing with it. This is so much better. And then you have Burning Rage also in this talent tier. Burning Rage is nice. It's good consistent damage. If you were to take this, you're not necessarily wrong. It's less burst damage than the other talent, but you're consistently dealing AoE damage, and this is actually better than the other talent if you want to prioritize on like clearing waves faster, just because it's going all the time. Level 16. So what I think is the best is Epicenter. You increase the burrow charge impact area by 85%. So when you land and come out of your burrow charge, it's a larger area, and it's much easier to hit the enemy targets, and you could possibly hit more. It makes it much easier to get those 5-man burrow charges, which is really nice. But the nice thing is that it lowers the cooldown by 4 seconds for each hero hit. Now, not only is this increasing the area anymore like it used to, but 4 seconds for each hero hit, you could instantly reset your E cooldown. That's big. That's like being able to charge in, hit enough heroes to reset your E, and then be able to have your E to keep chasing or to disengage if you need to get out of the fight is incredible. This talent is by far the best in his kit for Anub'arak. It fits so nicely, and it's something he definitely needs. I like that it's so far down the talent tier, because if this were much earlier, I think Anub'arak would be a lot stronger. Level 16, you got Beetlejuice. Every third basic attack against enemy heroes spawns a beetle. Not really worth it. You can get a ton of beetles on, I guess, but the value you get from this talent during team fights is minimal. At this stage in the game, it's minimal. There's no reason to take this. And then you have Blood for Blood. 10% of target enemy heroes max health, and you heal for twice that amount. It's a nice little heal. Nice big heal if you hit a myriad or something, but being able to reduce the cooldown on your E will help you live much more often. And then at level 20, I still think the best is Hardened Shield. Anub'arak's biggest problem is staying alive after he engages. This allows you to do that. You reduce damage by 75% for 4 seconds. I mean, the other options, you have Hive Master. If you take Locust Swarm, you gain a permanent Vampire Locust that attacks a nearby enemy every 3 seconds. The scaling is not correct here. This is level 1 scaling, so I'm not sure at level 20 how much damage it does. It does a decent chunk every 3 seconds, but it's not going to help you live longer than Hardened Shield. If you took this, you're being greedy and you want more damage, is essentially what you're saying to the enemy team, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. If that's what you want in Hero League, go for it, but I think Heart and Shield is better. Crit Weave. You have to channel your Cocoon to keep it going longer with this talent. It's not worth just sitting still. Anub'arak has a lot of AoE damage you could be dealing, stuns. You could do so much more in that channel time. There's just no reason to. What you're essentially doing is you're taking yourself out of a team fight to take an enemy hero out of a team fight. It's just better to web blast the target and be done with it, and then force an engagement and have that. Even if the enemy hero is gone from the fight for 1 second, it's still 1 second could be enough time. And then rewind. Honestly, if you want to be like, if you really, really, really want to engage and chase people and you think you can stay alive, rewind's pretty good. It resets the cooldowns on all your basic abilities. You could dive in with an E, pop your combo, pop rewind, pop another Q, pop another W, do a ton of damage, and you can E the hell out of the team fight right away instead of having to wait for your E cooldown. Nice, but I still think Heart and Shield, especially with the new level 16 Epicenter, is still better than Rewind. That was a quick overview of the Anub'arak. I think that's, like I said, the only build that I think is really viable for Anub'arak. This is probably the one I've seen most commonly used. I don't think Anub'arak is incredibly strong with his changes. I think he's certainly much better than he was before, and you will see him a lot more in Hero League. I have, and I don't get upset and think the game's going to be over when I see him in Hero League anymore, but I don't think he's that much better in situations that he wasn't good in before. I think he's incredibly strong in the situations he was good before when you would pick him in competitive. But we'll see. It's still pretty early with the changes. There can be something I'm missing. Somebody finds some magical build that makes Anub'arak overpowered. Maybe some synergy with another hero. That might not apply to you guys playing Hero League so much. But like, for example, Falset, Anub'arak, God, I can't think of many off the top of my head, but just like using web wrap with just a coordinated engage is a little harder to do in Hero League. You might not see it, something like that, as much. Maybe he'll be played more in competitive. I know there's a lot of players that really like Anub'arak a lot more than I think he should be liked, but that also might be because you're playing competitive games with players who can capitalize on web blast and your engagements and stuff. So thanks for tuning in the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. I want to do something new. If you guys have anything you want to talk about or hear about, have me make a video on, just leave it in the comments. I always read my comments. I always try to answer back. So if you have any questions or you just want to talk, go ahead and hit me up there. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next Friday. Thanks.